Tonight, a News Channel 11 investigation has uncovered allegations of abuse of power when it comes to the Johnson County Sheriff's Office and the county jail.
Ashley Sharp sat down with the family and their attorney who hope speaking out will make a difference. Ashley?
Josh, Sarah, the lawsuit claims the actions at the Johnson County Jail were, quote, intentional and reckless. As they say, a man who was in desperate need of medical attention was not taken to the hospital. Instead, they allege he sat in a jail cell with no adequate medical care for 2 days. A federal civil rights lawsuit centers around the alleged egregious abuse of power and the abuse of basic human dignity to a Latino man who was in desperate need of medical assistance. The lawsuit filed by attorney Christopher Rogers names several parties, including Johnson County, its Sheriff Edward Tester, the Johnson County Jail, and its healthcare provider, among others.
They were just deliberately indifferent to his state. He was left there to die.
Juan Carlos Casanova was booked into the Johnson County Jail after a crash involving a reported DUI. Court documents show he was convicted at a bench trial in late May on charges including driving under the influence. But 48 hours spent in the jail is what the Casanova family says has forever changed their lives.
Everyone in that jail for that weekend saw him look like this, and they chose to do nothing.
Juan Carlos does not speak English, which his attorney says resulted in communication issues with police and jail staff. Jenny Casanova says she called the jail several times to check on her husband following the crash and his arrest.
They assured me that he was fine. And so I thought, okay, maybe scared, maybe a little bit, but he's fine. And when I first seen him walk out, I was horrified. I didn't even recognize him. I really didn't.
As soon as he was released, Jenny took her husband to the hospital in Mountain City, where she says doctors told her he needed emergency surgery and would have to be transported immediately to the trauma unit at the Johnson City Medical Center.
He broke 4, 5, and 6 vertebrae in his neck, and he broke a broke arm as well. Number 5 vertebrae was crushed to the point to where it had wedged his back artery. So he was basically bleeding to death from the inside.
Potentially, he could have died if he didn't have a loving wife that made sure that he got out the minute that he could and rushed him to the hospital.
The lawsuit alleges Juan Carlos's civil rights were violated at the jail, saying the Sixth Circuit has repeatedly held that a pretrial detainee has a right to adequate medical care when it is obvious that the detainee needs medical attention.
I would suggest that a broken arm and 3 broken vertebrae would be pretty obvious that he needs medical attention, and he didn't get it at the jail, or it was not adequate.
Rogers also accuses jail administration of cruel and unusual punishment because his client was left sitting in a jail cell, as according to the lawsuit, medical staff did not transport him to the hospital despite obvious injuries and suffering an immense amount of pain. After 6 days at JCMC, with 3 spent in the ICU, 8 months of recovery, and now lifelong physical repercussions, the Casanovas say they filed their lawsuit to bring awareness so this doesn't happen again. Jenny believes Juan Carlos's race and inability to speak English resulted in discrimination.
There's a very small Hispanic population in Mountain City, and I didn't realize how vulnerable they are. Until now. If this can happen to my husband, it can happen to anybody.
Rogers has filed a motion for a new trial regarding the DUI conviction, alleging evidence presented by the state at trial was not provided to him, and his client was greatly prejudiced and deprived of a fundamental right to due process and a fair trial. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office said leaders will not comment on this as it involves pending litigation. However, we did receive statements from the county and the jail's healthcare provider. Quality Correctional Healthcare told us in part, QCHC denies the allegations set forth in the plaintiff's complaint and intends to vigorously defend this matter. Attorney for Johnson County, Perry Stout, said in part, anyone can sue anyone for anything. That does not mean they have a case. We have complete confidence in the sheriff and his department. We are confident that they are innocent of any wrongdoing.